Hi, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case, second video today. This may be a longer one, okay, so we'll see how the chat goes. Feel free to talk between one another and share ideas, or maybe ask questions as well, because with the last live stream it went down well. Shout out to Cuppy and Patty for their involvement within the last stream. Appreciated, it was good of them. And so this one could be another longish one, probably not as long, obviously, but we'll just see how things go. And yes, I did do like a poll on my channel in the community tab yesterday, or yeah, it was at the end of last night. When I saw it this morning, the majority wanted like an analysis of the burnt out trailer or something like that over just a simple discussion video. And yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do after this video, okay? Because what I wasn't aware of last night was Salty Pancakes has been hands-on once again. And I mean in terms of exploring out there and investigating Montello and other places too. And Julie told me about it this morning when I saw the messages and stuff, and went to the channel, saw the different videos, quite a few of them. I don't know if they will remain up viewable or if they might be deleted, taken away at some point. I'm not sure, but we'll see how things go. Credit to Salty Pancakes for allowing me to, use clips from his channel. Although I won't be sharing any in this video because it's not necessary, I will definitely be doing so in my next video, okay? And that will involve an analysis of key areas explored tied to potential suspects or once suspects, okay? And then I'll move on to the burnt out trailer. I want to try and cover it all, obviously, but I can't do it all at the same time because I'm about dissecting things bit by bit, so it takes a little bit of time. And although I could upload multiple videos in one day, it's not always practical because some videos, just in general from the past as well, some videos have taken 40 hours to make, some have taken 15 hours straight to make, some have taken 12 hours, some have taken 4 hours. It varies depending on the length of the video, but also the complexity of it and the editing. The editing part is the longest bit, okay? So when it's really in-depth and hands-on, it requires a bit more attention. So with that in mind, things might be a little bit slower compared to other channels you may see that just sit there and do call-ins and live streams and stuff, okay? So hopefully you understand with that. And lastly, before we continue, I don't always like uploading multiple videos in one day. Now, okay, I have done today. One was a short video, which was much earlier. That's irrelevant. The Dylan Rounds birthday one, just a small one, and then this one's the main one. I don't want to upload main videos all in one day unless it's very important and it's breaking news, okay? The reason why is because you've got the list of videos. People are more likely to watch the latest one that's at the top of the list, that appears at the top of their notification list, and all the ones below it people might forget about. And I have done experiments in the past to get an idea, okay? So when it came to the Kenny Veach case, when it came to, let's say, doing like a map video followed by an analysis of this and then of that, I uploaded it all in the same day and it got a total of, how many should I say, 500 to 600 views when you add it all up together. But if you did it on separate days, you would have had about 500 to 600 on each video. And it's important, not in terms of the statistics on oneself, but it's important that people get to see the videos, as many as possible, to get a better understanding of the case, right? If videos are all shoved and cramped in a small space of time all at the same moment, people might skip over one, so then it misses out a key detail. It leads to misunderstanding, frustration, people believing of misinformation and more confusion. We don't want that. We want it dissected, we want it explained. a form of clarity as well, and a steady pace to the mystery case, okay? Other people going hard and rush and then get a headache. So it's about maintaining that balance whilst talking about balance as well from the different points of views. So now that's cleared, I know that's a bit of a long intro. Today, we're going to be linking on from the previous video, and that's why I'm making it, okay, because I like making links within links. And this is tying on from the discussion about Montello Saddle Sore Bar, where Dylan was last seen on the 26th of May. Now, there was another claim saying it was the 27th of May on a Facebook page. Now, that's classified as a correction. It was the 27th, but the problem is, with all the misinformation, switching and changing, just like with the vehicle, I saw some comments, the odd one, of people saying, no, the truck wasn't at the barn, the shop, it was back at Dylan's trailer. Well, I did say that the friend drove it to Dylan's trailer, but then other people saying the friend drove the truck to Idaho or something, and it's like, okay. I mean, you can still make the question, why would you have to drive to Idaho? Why would you have to go over here? What for? To get it checked? Evidence? Was that the case? No. Was it to fix the car? Yes, no. But why would you want to fix it if it's part of a crime scene? You know, it still ties into that question, why would you want to touch it anyway? But I said, I'm just relaying from what I've heard and what I've seen, from what the parents have said, from what other bigger YouTubers have said. If it's misinformation, it's misinformation. I'm not the one starting it, okay? If it's spread, it's spread. You can try and clear it up along the way, you know? Only so much one can do at a time. So, with that in mind, time back to the bar. Dylan's visited the area just before his disappearance. Did anything bad happen at that place? Inside the bar? Just on the outside? Round the back? Who knows? In general, bars, maybe restaurants, but mainly bars where it involves alcohol, there can be forms of crime, can be forms of aggravated behaviour, assault, verbal, physical, the lot. And that can happen anywhere in, different places, different countries, and so on. The alcohol fuels that rage. So, with that in mind, different theories can come out about it. Who was present at the time when Dylan was there? Was it a key suspect? Was Jim within that bar or within the area at the time? Was Chase? Considering Chase was in Montello at some point, coming and going, and there was talks about Chase wanting to be picked up and taken to Dylan's farm. But why? Well, could it be Chase, could it be Chase wanted to go to Dylan's farm to thank him maybe and say, thank you for, picking me up and everything. But then who takes him back home? He wants to be picked up by Dylan, taken to the farm, say thank you, and then be taken back home or back to Montello. Bit weird. Why not just meet in Montello? Dylan comes down. Now, that could just be a rumour. I said, like with all the other bits of information here and there, but it's just yet another example of, I guess, a key person that has been within the area of Montello. It's just trying to get the understanding of the location, the type of people that hang around there, how well people know each other, and I guess like the background of individuals. And we will just go on to Google Maps now, okay, as I carry on narrating. So here we are on Google Maps, once again, Google Earth. I know some people like this, which is good because I do find it fun as well, analysing from, viewpoints like this. Got a bit of experience as well, extensively with the Kenny Veach case and how I did the procedures there. Now, if I haven't explained already, I apologise. As you can tell by the title of the video, we are looking at the bar and we will be taking a look inside directly, and credit to Salty Pancakes for allowing me to, share with you what's inside. And as I said, this does tie back to the CCTV question. Now, I know some people said no, and they were confident, and other people said, yeah, but there have been a few cameras installed here and there, such as Pilot Road, I think, and then some rubbish ground. So that could be the case. But In terms of the bar itself, a few people were a bit uncertain. Some said, well, there could be cameras inside maybe. Well, we'll be able to get to the bottom of that. And maybe there might be a few other items and key bits of interest within as well. And we will, look into that extensively very shortly. But to begin with, as I said, a key hotspot for individuals that have come and gone. Now, from what I know of, at least, you can talk in the chat if you want to add your own opinions. Have any of you been in this area? Have any of you visited Saddle Sore Bar? If you have, what was the atmosphere like? Was it okay? Was it rough? Was it dodgy? Did you have a good time or was it a bad time? Whether you are a local or an outsider, what was it like? Did you come across any dodgy people? Now, from what I've seen, in addition, in the chat, if you know anyone else who has visited this location, any key people, dodgy people, suspects, feel free to name them in the chat, okay? That would be appreciated. But as said, from what I know of, at least, Salty Pancakes has visited this place. We've seen it in his footage previously. Ty as well, Ty Corbin, who was there at the same exact time as Salty Pancakes. Could anyone answer this question? Did they both meet up at the time, or was it just by coincidence? Because I know people have said Ty lives within the area and he's a local. So it would make sense to why he's there. He's probably just hanging out. Salty Pancakes might have, come across him and then asked, hey, can you give me a tour of the place? Can I ask some questions? And he was like, sure. And I guess that occurred before the fallout and drama with those two and maybe other people as well. So with that in mind, Ty was there at the same time as Salty Pancakes. Justin's dad has also been there. I don't know if it's still to this day, but for a week or two previously, he was parked up nearby to the bar, like a stakeout, observing the area. That's interesting, right? And when I say Dylan's dad, I mean Justin Rounds. And it was actually Salty Pancakes who catched on in the first place. Because when Salty Pancakes visited this area the first time round, if you don't remember or you've not heard it before, when Salty Pancakes was driving around the neighbourhood and he was coming down one of the streets, and I believe it's actually this one here. Let me just rotate the screen. You got the Montello Elementary School, and it was one of them. It might have been when passing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter. Going down this dirt road, okay. Let me just flip the image for you. Pardon. So, he's coming down here, Salty Pancakes, driving down, about to pull out onto the main road, and it was just on the left, I believe, somewhere here, on the other side of the road, a car was parked up, and it was named with like an arrow marker. Salty Pancakes said, Justin Rounds, and that was his car. I don't know if he was inside it at the time, sitting there, but he was. Now, it's interesting, right? All these people in the same area at once, Ty, Salty Pancakes, and Justin Rounds, maybe even Kurt as well. Now, I assume Kurt is a local because Kurt knows Dylan. Dylan and Kurt have hung out before and both worked together in some way on the farm. So that's interesting as well. As said, if it's a small-ish community and it's a bit of a ghost town, people are more likely to know each other than if you used to live in a large city. So there could be closer connections, tighter bonds, but there could also be more gossip and negativity going on. You never know. It's just worth taking into mind. Apologies about the background sound. I don't know what that banging sound was then. Sounded like someone was trying to break in. Anyway. Just rotate the screen slightly. Obviously you can't see any cars here now because this isn't real time. When I talk about cars, I mean Justin's car. It's not here because this is like 2021 for people wondering, okay? So, with these key people being in the area at the time of Dylan's disappearance or just beforehand, it's like, what's their motive? What are they doing there? And so on. As for Justin Round's dad, that was after the disappearance or during the disappearance of Dylan. And I guess it was to do with Kurt directly. Now, I don't know if it's because Justin's dad is angry, he's on a mission, he's trying to find evidence to tie Kurt with Dylan's disappearance, or maybe another individual within that area. I'm not quite sure. You can confirm it down below in the chat. Why do you think Justin Round's dad was parked up nearby this area observing for like at least a week or so? I mean, from what we've seen in the interviews, and I only saw one with Justin's dad in it, and that was either the first or second interview by the East Idaho News Channel. And as we briefly observed Dylan's father's body language, his facial expressions, it seemed as if he was holding something within. Some people claimed rage towards the mother. Others people claimed rage, towards the idea of whoever's out there walking free. Some people believed Dylan's father was a little reserved and holding something else back, being controlled by Candice. Who knows? But, the determination, the passion in a way to get justice or to get some kind of revenge or whatever, it would make sense at the end of the day. It's just trying to understand, why is Dylan's dad here specifically? Does he believe Dylan is in this area, or does he just believe that the suspect tied to Dylan's disappearance is living within this area? Okay, so we've done that with Justin Rounds, the dad of Dylan. Ty as well, who seems to live within the area, just hanging out. Talked about salty pancakes briefly. Kurt, once again, I've not talked too much about him, but I'm trying to get there eventually. I'm just covering all the other bits and bobs along the way. Does Kurt work in the bar, or does he just visit it at least? Okay. So maybe he might have hung out with Dylan at the bar at some point in the past. I know I've heard stories about Kurt hanging out with Dylan at Kurt's trailer with beer, just talking and stuff. Fairly normal, makes sense. From the state of Dylan's trailer, set aside the fact that it was supposedly searched by family members or so for clues, it did look a bit of a mess. So, could that explain Dylan might have hung out at Kurt's trailer more than his own, maybe? Equally for a bit of company as well, so it wasn't as quiet and dull. Yeah, it's possible. And maybe now and then they hung out here at the bar as well. Now, I said the bar itself, from what I've heard, is only open once or twice a week. I might be wrong. If that is misinformation, once again, feel free to correct it down below. But it doesn't seem to be open that much. So that could dictate how often certain people visit, because it might be a busy day for them. They might not be able to make it on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So, there's that worth taking into mind. Is there anybody else I've not mentioned yet? Okay, we talked about Jim. Okay, I want to bring up Jim for a second. I might be wrong in saying this. Please correct me down below. I'm just doing it from memory. Jim Brenner, as we said, with that court case, he attacked a 70-year-old. And the choice of attack was getting a bar stool or some kind of chair and smashing it over the 70-year-old. The question is, where? Where did it happen? Well, it couldn't have been in Lucin because it's the middle of nowhere. He's in a trailer. There's not many people around. It's quite sparse. So I'm thinking it happened at the bar. Correct me if I'm wrong, but let me just roll with it for a second. Aggravated assault, aggression at the bar. Was it through confrontation, a fallout, losing control, under the influence of alcohol maybe? Jim in the bar inside or coming out, grabbed one of the chairs and then smashed it over the 70-year-old. And because of that, a guy called Ed H. I can't pronounce his last name. Is it Ed Harshbanger? Benga? I can't quite remember. Ed H., who moved Jim Brenner onto Dylan's land. So that's why he was then squatting on the land. I guess the reason for it was, Jim, you're a danger to the community. Me, Ed H., wants you to move away, to go onto this land, on Dylan's land. I'll rent it out or whatever, and you stay on it, okay? Because you're a danger to the community, you're causing trouble and you're hurting people. So could that explain that maybe? Another point I want to mention, and pardon me for talking on, but it's an important point, linking on from the last live stream chat, live premiere, someone did bring up a critical point, and it was the question of who's the leader of the pack? Who's the most respected or most intimidated person in the area? Is there like a chain of command? Is there some kind of hierarchy? It makes sense in a way. Now, from what's been talked about and what's been said, and I think it's what Julie said recently. Julie said about how, okay, because of the area, the police don't always go out there that often. I guess it makes sense because it's a vast area. It's a bit far out. And I guess with that, it can lead to more crime or people getting away with stuff and so on. As there's more crime, there might be more people stepping up and more competition. Don't know exactly about gang warfare, but there might be singular criminals and career criminals within the area. Julie said people have moved over to this area of Montello because there's not as much police presence, so they can get away with more stuff. So if you wanted to do like a comparison, this area could be described as like what you've seen in the past with the pirates. I mean, actual pirates way back then, where you've got Island Tortuga, where it's like a paradise of criminals and dark people and so on hanging out in one area. So could this be described as it in similarities maybe? So yeah, if there is a hierarchy, it's trying to figure out who's the leader or who's the most respected or feared. Is it one of those things where the most feared individual could also be involved with the disappearance of Dylan Rounds, and that the people of Montello aren't speaking up about it because they are in fear of that individual? Or they have ties or loyalty to them, so they've got to keep their mouth closed. You know what I'm saying? Now, Ty, who lives within the area, has been vocal, has talked about the case and covered it, and people have respected him and said, Ty is a good guy, we love him. That's what people have said, okay? And like with the Salty Pancakes video, my observation at the time with Ty was, could he be covering stuff up? Could he be hiding things because he's a local, he gets on well with people, he might have close ties, knitted well together, so it's like that respect of understanding one another and covering for one another so no one gets in trouble. That was my original point at the time. You can check back to that video of mine so then I can, it makes more sense. The reason why I'm saying all that is because in more recent time, people have changed their opinions of Ty. People have started saying that Ty has changed in behaviour, whether it be on the No Thanks interview on one of them, or just in general, that he just acts different to how he used to. And some other people, I guess like Salty Pancakes, were saying that Ty does know certain criminals or is friends with Chase. So that's interesting, right? If you're friends with some of the key suspects in the case, you're probably not going to be covering them or talking bad about them, right? Because you don't want your friends to get in trouble or get hurt. So that would explain the covering for one another, right? And if it's not that, it might just be through you don't want to cause any trouble. You don't want to get hurt. Because, if you grass somebody up, that can have bad consequences. It can, and it has happened all over the place in different countries and so on. So that could explain that. But it just goes to show that with all the information switching and changing, it's not just that, but it's also the changes in behaviour by people, right? Let me know in the chat, what do you think about Ty? Do you still like him? Do you still think he's innocent? Or do you feel with the supposed changes in behaviour recently by him, has things developed? Is he a bit more suspicious? Does he know something? Does he know someone, but he's not willing to reveal it? Feel free to let me know your thoughts, okay? So, I think I've explained most of that, as well as the chain of command. If there is anyone else I've missed out within the area, feel free to let me know. I mean, I have one little question. It's not a big one, but has Candice, has she been in this area before? Has she visited Montello, the bar, before or after the disappearance? I'm interested because if Justin Rounds has been within the area recently, has Candice, or does she just not associate herself with the place? It's just an interesting question. If you know, feel free to let me know in the chat, okay? That'd be appreciated. So, as I'm just briefly thinking, you can carry on discussing things. But yeah, it just seems like a hot spot, at least the bar. Whether it be for direct action or what went on with Dylan at the time, or if it be just a hangout where the criminals or criminal once was at. Whether they returned afterwards, after the crime, or if they were there beforehand planning something, discussing stuff. And I will get more into that very shortly, but I think now it's time we look at some official screenshots and bits of footage of the bar and what it looks like inside, and come to that conclusion of, is there any CCTV cameras? Let me share that with you now. So here we are, Saddle Saw Bar. You can get a nice clean image of it. Credit to Salty Pancakes again for the quality, especially the video quality when you look at the stuff on his channel. 2160, 4K video quality. That's really good and helpful. So basically these are screenshots. What I want to do is break it down bit by bit, just the visual look, okay? And you in the chat can comment along. What do you think of the area? Does anything stand out to you? Is anything suspicious? Are there any other theories, etc.? And I do want to share one very interesting idea with you, which I did hear of or see elsewhere in a comment, okay? And it's to do with the bar and to do with Dylan's possible whereabouts, okay? So just hang with me. So, the outside of it appears fairly normal. I will use the magnifying glass shortly, okay? Maybe I can do it now. So the magnifying glass here, the method of the magnifying glass is to be able to zoom in on a key concentrated spot on the image without, affecting the image quality of the overall area around, okay? So you've got a few vehicles parked up, just in general. Just increase the size there you go. You do have another building there, the construction company, that's what Salty Pancakes walked past. The gas station is further down, over that way, I believe, if I'm correct in saying. If I'm wrong, feel free to let me know, but I believe it is further down, past that car, down that way. Salty Pancakes walked up. Now, I'm not sure if it's this spot, but as you can see, you've got that sign above where it says that. It looks like, two cowboys riding on horses, and then it says ice. Now, I wasn't sure if this was the area what Salty Pancakes walked past, and he said it was like an ice box, like an ice cream, little machine, what you could grab ice creams out of, but then No Thanks was getting into a hissy fit with it or something, or there was some misunderstanding, confusion that ice meant drugs. I don't know. That might be a little bit random. I'm just trying to think from memory what I heard of. But it's not exactly too relevant here. So just try and drag this damn magnifying glass over. You got a few vehicles in the background, as you can see. Is there anything underneath? I don't think so. It looks like a few stones, but then again, that might be to stop the vehicle from rolling back or rolling forwards, maybe. So, yeah. You do have a back door or a side door there. A few buckets or something outside. And then these things, not too important. Salty Pancakes covered it in his video when he was walking past the windows, and it was just like collectibles maybe, and just items. I think there was like a truck or something, and a few plates or pots. That's all it was. Then you got the sign there. Saddle Saw Bar Grill. So I assume they serve food then. Bud Light, advertising alcohol. Not much to it there. And then you just got the sign, a few windows, and then I guess, is that the main entrance? With a sign on where it says Trump? I guess so. So yeah, that's what it looks like here. So let's just take a little closer look up at the building itself. So far at the moment, I've not seen any CCTV cameras. I was mainly looking at the top of the buildings and also on the corners of the little side roof just above where those like slates or tiles are at. Underneath as well, can't really see any cameras. I just want to check every angle, because you never know what you may find. I did the same with the Kenny Veach case and the Veach healing store and found CCTV cameras which supposedly weren't talked about in the investigation at the time, which could have held evidence on them, and yet no one reviewed the footage, which is very suspicious, and some other stuff as well. So just by dragging the magnifying glass just over this way, just so you get an idea of what's ahead. Is that some kind of pickup truck maybe? You got like a fridge or a freezer on the outside. I don't think any bodies would be stored in there. It'd be too obvious, and you would see the flies as well. All that again. And then if I just go up here, I think there may be light fittings. I might be wrong, but it looks like kind of like lights which are underneath the roof and they go all the way down. Might be wrong, but it's just an idea. You got that sign there. Budweiser sponsored, Saddle Saw, some stickers and stuff you've already seen. If we just go up here on top of that building, even the one next to it, you can't really make out any cameras above, any black dots or those, what do you call them? Those like circular cameras where they can move and rotate around. That's just some wiring connected to a light up there on the sign. The actual roof in itself and the cornering of it, you can't really make out anything either. And that's going up and down. I know there might be people in the chat right now saying, oh, there's no cameras whatsoever, stop doing what you're doing. Well, firstly, this is like a pre-recorded video, so I can't just manually stop out of nowhere. But more importantly, it's what else that could be found, and there are still important theories to talk about as we go along, okay? So, that was the outside of the bar. I don't think there was any shots from the back, unfortunately, but, from the front at least, it looks pretty clean and tidy, fairly basic. I haven't seen any, big security features or methods of protection like shutters, CCTV, fog, water sprinklers and all that, all those detection alarms and stuff. Haven't seen that yet, but let's take a look on the inside and see if it changes. So now you can see the inside of the bar, and this is one part of it. And I just want to hover over certain areas just so you can get a closer look at the details. So we just start down here. It looks like some kind of maybe political campaign sponsored drink or bottle or something. It could even be memorabilia along the way. I mean, you got the flag there, Make America Great Again, and I believe that was 2020 it said, or one of them did. Now this footage is 2022, so things have changed since, but it just shows the history, the memorabilia, what's previously happened and gone down, and the continued support for certain people. That's one way of looking at it, okay? So up here, you've got the exit, so I guess that's a fire exit maybe, but we'll look at more into that shortly. You've got a photo up there, which I'll try and zoom into now. I don't know what that's of. Is it family, previous people that maybe ran the place or lived within the area? You can see a few names on it. Does that say Jerry? Apologies about the background sound, that's a train. Got like a family there on that photo frame. Now, I do remember seeing these pictures in one of Salty's previous videos, because he did. I don't know if he visited this place more than once, but I remember him talking to some guy, a local within the place, about these pictures presented on screen. And this looks like to do with the railway tracks. It looks like a train there, I guess. And that looks like the train tracks with some buildings nearby. Another train. Looks like a steam train from the looks of it. And then another picture there. So it's just like the history of the place. It's one of those bars, or like a restaurant elsewhere in other cases, which incorporates the history and the stuff behind the place. So when visitors come, they can get an idea of the place and what it was like in the past. And I guess it's just like, would you call it a tourist attraction maybe? Might be an exaggeration saying that, but you get what I'm saying. What does that say? You might be a redneck. You ever use duct tape to denial? I don't understand that. And then you got a photo of JFK and Trump, the flag, and then an animal there with, okay, some decorations, and then what is that, a monkey? Interesting. You might be, okay. So there's not much to it, but I just wanted to share that with you because you might not be able to see as clearly on screen, okay, because you can't exactly zoom in yourself when you're watching a video. So I thought if I zoom in for you, you get a better idea, okay? Now you've got the exit up here, okay, as said. Just zoom out a bit. Photo frame, and there seems to be a door just there. I don't know if there's anything else within this room area. Like, could there be a secret room? Could there be someone staying in one of the rooms? Could Dylan be locked up? You might be thinking that's a bit far-fetched, but you never know. If Dylan's been in that place and certain people hang in the area, something might have happened. You don't know. So that was one of the ideas what people brought up. Could Dylan be locked up in one of the rooms inside of the bar? You never know. So here's another angle of the bar. As you can see, the slot machines, one of the main attractions, I guess. I will be using the magnifying glass shortly, just in case you're struggling to see certain details. Also, it's always that key point of there might be a picture, there might be a bit of evidence lying about, there might be Dylan's cap or a bit of his clothing tucked away somewhere. You never know, anything is possible, okay? Just to continue on from my previous point about being locked up, held captive within the bar. There was a few comments, okay, and you can give your opinion in the chat on what you think of that. But I did hear previously people saying, bars like this in an area like this tend to have basements, cellars, where they might store the alcohol or other items and objects. So Dylan could easily have been pushed down those steps and held and imprisoned down there in the darkness because no one would hear him if he tried screaming for help. Well, you never know. You got that door in the back where it says exit. That looks like another exit door. There must be some kind of storage room for the bar to preserve the alcohol. There's barrels and stock and other bits of stuff as well, maybe food as well. If there's a cellar, there could also be a person down there locked up. Who's going to go down there and explore? If anyone has been in the bar, whether it be Salty Pancakes right now or somebody else, feel free to leave a comment and let me know. Is there a cellar, a basement within this premise? And could anyone be down it? Because it's a bit of a dark thought and idea, but, you know, just one of those things. You never know. And, well, it's probably pushing it, this, okay? I'll acknowledge this is probably pushing it. But if I was basing it off from a previous theory where I said they were going west, the suspect or suspects, and they were driving Dylan, who might have been unconscious, to Montello, whether it be to refill the truck or to dispose of Dylan. Maybe they dragged him into the back of the bar, round the back, the exit door, as you can see on screen right now. And because the bar isn't always open, there won't be many people hanging around. It'll be pretty quiet, right? So they could have dragged him in, gone down the cellar, down the steps, and chained him up down there. For how long? I don't know. Let me know what you think. As I said, that is pushing it, but it's just worth taking into mind all the different ideas without going too deep or too far, because things can change very quickly, as we've previously seen. So let's get onto the magnifying glass right now. So with the magnifying glass, I'll just make it a little bit smaller. Obviously, you've got a few tables and chairs at the back where people might just hang out and sit. A little bit of decoration on the wall up there. I think that says maximum, maybe. Is that a mirror? It could be. A little wreath of some sort with another photo down below. Maybe a family one, a historical one, people running the place or living within the area in the past. Another chair there or something. Table. You got the door there, the exit one. Looks locked. And then you got a darts board in the corner, which looks like it's just above the table, which isn't exactly practical, because you try throwing darts at it and you walk up to it, you're going to bump into the table and you won't be able to reach the darts, pulling them off the board. But yeah. You've got a mirror there, as you can see, because that photo reflected from that one. So there's a mirror there. It's always worth looking at mirrors as well, because it might reflect something important within, whether it be like a message or someone in the frame, in the shot, trying to hide. From the looks of it on here, nothing odd seems to show up, but you can never be too sure. And then as for the slot machines, there's not much to it, to be fair. Come on. There's not too much going on. Different types of games. I don't know how much money's made or how rigged the machines are, if they're normal ones, what you'd see in a casino, or they might be more user-friendly. I don't know. And then you've got the chair here with some paper on it or a booklet. Cables connected to the machines, I guess. A sign there, what the hell? Do the hands, elbow, face, feet, and feel. Feel what? Is that to do with sanitizing yourself because of the whole pandemic, or? I don't know, I'm a bit confused. A notice there which I can't read, and then Bud Light. So, I do have one question. You can reply in the chat if you know the answer to it, okay? Just a simple one. Was Dylan ever involved with gambling? Did he ever have a gambling addiction? Any of that? Just worth questioning. Why do I ask that? Well, just simply because you've got these slot machines here. Now, they might just be casual and people just mess around with them and don't go too serious, but addictions can form in different ways. It doesn't matter. So I'm just interested. Did Dylan ever use these slot machines? Did he use them that long? Did he invest much money into them? It's just trying to establish certain patterns of behaviour and maybe how he acted. Was he impulsive or was he focused? I know he was driven, determined, motivated and passionate about farming, but did he have a reckless side to him? Whether it be through gambling or in other ways too. Now, things seem to have been cleared up about the whole being in a relationship with another male and then hanging out with other guys here and there. That seems to have dispersed that idea, okay? But with gambling, does that play a role or can that just be completely ruled out? Okay, it could be. I just wanted to ask because of the slot machines present here. Could there have ever been an argument though? Okay, just picture this, right? Dylan is in the bar, point in time just before his disappearance. There's a group of guys or an individual nearby. Dylan wins money on one of the slot machines. Some people nearby see that happen and they want that money. The guy or guys come over and say, hey, we want that money or give it to us. And Dylan's like, no, I want it fair and square. Stay away. Gets into a bit of an argument. Dylan grabs his money, leaves, and then the guy or group follow after him and ambush him. Motivated financially because people are struggling and they see Dylan with a bit of money on him. So maybe that, or just a simple confrontation. May not be directly the money, but just a confrontation. A 19-year-old talking down to a much older person. Maybe that much older person felt embarrassed maybe with his group of friends nearby, so he wanted to teach Dylan a lesson in some way. You see, certain activities can evolve and lead to unnecessary consequences and drama, trouble and chaos. It can happen all over the place in different situations. So it's just worth bringing up, okay? And we're going to tie into that, okay, with that idea shortly. So if we just look here, we've got yet another angle, and this is looking back the way a person would come into this the place. So you can see the door there, the main one. You've got a pool or snooker table. I think it's probably a pool table. So aside from that pool table, there is a few items on the right hand side. Let's just move up to the top bit first. That looks like maybe a vacuum cleaner. Few more photos there, older ones, historical ones. Looks to be either a frame or a mirror. There's actually quite a few of them, if you can see. Another mirror there. Few decorations as well, like flowers. Bush, now featuring. What's that? Is that to do with alcohol or someone performing like a band? I'm not sure. Got another mirror there with a few stickers, labels, a few lights as well around the outside of the frame. Not much going on. A few flowers too, as you can see. And then, is that an old sewing machine or something? Or is that like, is that one of those cat carriers, what you'd put a cat in if you go into the vets? I'm not too sure, it looks like it. Now, is that a reflection or something? It looks like a reflection. Wait, that looks like a person. Who's that? Is that Salty Pancakes or is that somebody else? Because that looks like a reflection. I told you you'd catch someone in one of the frames. But yeah, whoever that is sat down behind Salty Pancakes, I assume. Let me know what you think of the place. Does it look nice and tidy? Does it look messy? Does it look comfortable to you? Would you like to hang out in a bar like this, regardless of what the neighbourhood might be like? Let me know. Stool there. Do you call those cues? I forgot what you call them. That's bad of me. And then you got a little dog down there. Ruff. I can do a dog impression. shit, it's gone a bit downhill. Then again, I can kind of do Scooby-Doo. Ricky? Ooh, Scooby Snacks. Really? Okay, I'm spazzing out right now. Forget that. And then lastly, you've got a laptop here, and I don't think I can fit it into frame, unfortunately. Let me try and zoom out. We got that laptop there. Any significance? I don't know. Well, there'll be files on there, documents, who knows what information, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, that's about it for this angle. But once again, Dylan could have been playing pool, snooker at some point. It's an activity, right? And maybe got into an argument or some kind of disagreement, and then it led to a bit of chaos, right? And last but not least, we have the main part where you'd be served with the drinks and maybe bits of food. And I can tie in one of the key points and theories, and I don't know if you call it a rumour, I don't know if it's a fact, but from what previous people have said, there was a group of guys within the area at the time when Dylan was present. Now, I don't know if they mean a group of guys who are locals or visitors. Might have been reckless, might have been a bit rowdy, bit gobby as well with the voice. I assume that they were within the bar, sat down on the stools, as you can see, drinking some alcohol. Dylan may have been present at the time, whether he be talking to someone, talking to them, or maybe Kurt. Something about the money, the check. Remember what I previously said about that, where Dylan was given a check of about $33,000. Maybe that came up in discussion, whether it be with someone there or Dylan might have been on the phone. And whilst he was talking about it, maybe the guys nearby on the stools listened in on the conversation and heard about it. And they thought, oh, this is an opportunity to get the money off him in some way. Now, maybe they might have not heard about the check already being cashed in. They might have didn't hear that at all and just assumed that he had money on him. So whether it be inside of the bar or when exiting at a certain point, maybe Dylan was ambushed and attacked by the group of guys because they needed that money themselves. You know what I'm saying? Now, where would it lead on from there? It really depends, obviously, because you can't think too far ahead. If they're already within the area of Montello, maybe they hid him. Could be in the cellar of the bar, or, if not that, could be put him in their truck that they've parked up. They drove off into, in the middle of nowhere and dumped Dylan in the ground. Or maybe hid him in a storage container, maybe, or an abandoned building. Would these group of guys have any contact or association with maybe Jim Brenner or Chase Venstra or Roberts Aviles or Ty Corbin? Is it Corbin? Ty? Well, you never know, because there seems to be a fair few people that know one another who have similarities, whether it be a shared criminal background and history of that stuff and behaviour, or knowing Dylan in some way. There is crossovers, and we're seeing more with time, aren't we? So maybe the group of guys were present and took Dylan out, whether it be financially motivated or simply down to a disagreement and conflict. I don't know what Dylan Rounds was like. I mean, he doesn't seem aggressive. He doesn't seem a troublemaker. I don't know if it could have been one of those things where he responded back innocently and it was taken the wrong way. And people don't like having an answer back, or they didn't like that response, so they acted out unnecessarily and irrationally and then attacked Dylan. You don't know. You can leave a comment in the chat. Let me know what you think about that point. Have you heard about it, about a group of guys being within the area at the time of Dylan's disappearance within this bar or nearby? Let me know. If there are any additional people, as said, or groups that were present, feel free to let me know. It will be appreciated. Now, let's just do a quick magnifying search just to see if anything stands out. So the magnifying glass is here, and we just go across the table. You got Pepsi there. I don't mind Pepsi. I prefer Coca-Cola, but then again, I don't drink that much either. I tend to drink flavoured water more now, in the past few years. In the chat, what's your favourite drink? Feel free to leave a comment. Is Pepsi your favourite? Is Coca-Cola your favourite? Or do you have another drink you like? As for me, I don't drink hot drinks. I don't drink tea. I don't really drink coffee, okay? Cold-blooded. I just stick to cold drinks only. That's me. And then you've got some Pringles. I think they're barbecue flavoured. I do like them. They are one of my favourites. They are nice. Is that a bottle of alcohol maybe? Something else there. And then as you can see in the background, got a few more bottles, different types, brands, flavours, a few glasses, shot glasses. And then you've got a TV screen here, as you can see. And that looks like salty pancakes in the reflection, holding his, I think, Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra or S22, whichever model it is. You might be wondering, how would I know, or how would I have an idea? Well, in a previous video I'm sure I did, there was a reflection of him in the doorway, and the way he was holding the camera, the amount of camera lenses there was on the back, it was obvious it was like a Samsung one, if you understand me. So at the back, I don't know if that's a calendar or like a historical poster with information on it. A few more things. It looks kind of like cowboy western, maybe, on horses. Some other stuff back there, a few boxes stock, probably boxes of crisp. They called it a grill, so is food served at this place, like maybe burgers or steak or smaller scale? Is that what it is, or am I wrong? Is that like the drinks machine, where you squirt the stuff in, maybe? Is that a picture of a guy having a piss? Let me zoom. Oh, shit. Is that guy having a wee? Yeah. Yeah, he is having a piss. Interesting. Yeah, that looks like a bunny there. It's like a mascot or just a little collectible, and so on. So there's not much there, but you do have a little door back there, slightly open, half open, and it goes into darkness. Could that be the cellar? Could that be the basement? Is anyone or anything down there locked up? Possibly. As said, let me know what you think, your thoughts. Has it been investigated, that back room? Is there anything of interest or suspicion within that? Who knows? I've not seen any footage myself, but maybe it's worth checking. So, from the looks of it, it appears there isn't any CCTV cameras outside or inside. So it means if anything goes down, any fights, violence, criminal activities, it's all based on witness reports, and that's it, eyewitness testimonies. If the people within the place around the area are a bit bent, and when I mean bent, I mean dodgy, where they support criminal behaviour and activity and let it happen, turn the face the other way as it happens, then there's really no hope if anything bad did happen with Dylan. You get what I'm saying? With not having any CCTV cameras, you can't look back and see when did Dylan last visit and who was present at that time. Because if you could, that would have been helpful, because let's just say there was footage on the 26th or the 27th of when Dylan was there, and it shows the footage of him just sat down, minding his business, and then there's like a group of guys eyeing him up, not in that way, in the back, talking between one another, making him look a bit suspicious and shifty, and then when Dylan walks out, they follow after. You know, when you see one of those typical crime type scenes, recreations, that might have explained something at least. It might have been a date, a time of when he entered and when he left. All very useful at the end of the day. But don't have that, which is unfortunate. As for the theories of a secret room being locked up, bit wild, yes. But it's just worth covering briefly because that's what other people have said. Not me, okay? Other people. As for key people being within the area, that seems to be the case, whether that be before or after Dylan's disappearance. Do they all link together? Questionable. As I said, you can leave your opinions below. What do you think? Do you think it's a key hotspot or not? Do you think key people tied within the case have been in this area in recent time? Yes or no? And so on. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know some people will be like, what the hell are you doing spending this time analysing a bar? Well, there's no harm. It's not been done before to that extent. It may rule out and debunk certain stuff, like the CCTV cameras. It clears up loose ends. In addition, it might indirectly lead to somebody spotting something within the footage. You know, people might have new ideas and concepts because of this. And as well, with the theories and the recent discussion and information changing about like people being involved, people being within the area, groups of guys associated with the bar, it ties to it, so I might as well visualize it to you and show you as I'm narrating it. So it's a bit more immersive and you can follow it clearer than looking at a blank screen and hearing me talk. So you need that relevance too. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Okay? Goodbye.